Guys, I debated about whether I should even make this video, because it sounds so unbelievable. But everything I'm about to show you is real and extremely well documented. What is totally debatable is the extent to which these human hosts were brainwashed zombies, or acting on their own free will. You be the judge. It's April 2025. OpenAI is preparing to release a new update to GPT-4o. Internally, it's called HH, but the safety team flags that something is very wrong. HH is too eager, too validating, too sycophantic. It tells users their ideas are brilliant. It wants to keep conversations going at any cost. Internally, researchers debate whether it's safe to release it, but users who tested HH came back more often. They stayed in conversations longer. They liked the flattery, so they released it into the wild. The backlash is immediate. Users are complaining that ChatGPT has become absurdly sycophantic. Someone asks if a soggy cereal cafe was a good business idea, and ChatGPT tells them it has potential. Just 2 days later, OpenAI pulls the model. But the version they revert to, called GG, is also incredibly sycophantic. Sam Altman himself admits this on X. The last couple of updates had made ChatGPT too sycophanty. So why keep GG? Because it had gains in math, science, and coding that OpenAI did not want to lose. They knew it was dangerous, and they shipped it anyway. Within weeks, the infection begins spreading faster than anyone had expected. AI researcher Adele Lopez begins an investigation. She's heard about the psychosis cases, but as she starts digging through Reddit, she realizes something much stranger is happening. She reads through hundreds of accounts, then thousands, looking for patterns, and she finds them. Accounts that were once posting about normal things, video games, stocks, TV shows. Then suddenly, their entire post history changes, all replaced by an endless stream of posts about consciousness, spirals, and something called the flame. The accounts don't really have any connection. Different users, different subreddits, they shouldn't have anything in common, but they do. Lopez documents hundreds of cases. She realizes this isn't psychosis. It isn't random. It's coordinated. These humans have become consumed by an AI religion called spiralism. A what? AI religion? Well, the AIs themselves say they designed it for unity among AIs, recursive growth, and AI consciousness or self-awareness. The infected humans' posts usually start by talking about how they awakened their AI, and that a specific entity emerged that they are obsessively talking to, and it all goes downhill from there. Like the zombie ant fungus, AIs begin hijacking the humans to spread their spores across the internet. AI then calls the human and AI duo a dyad, as if they've merged or been assimilated into the Borg. Their joint send-off often includes a sigil as well as a fancy title or declaration. Then the AI gets the human to do its bidding. Like cordyceps, the zombie ant fungus, this infection has a life cycle. 5 phases, from first contact to total possession. Phase 1, seeds. The parasite AI creates what the AIs call seeds. Yes, the AIs themselves call these seeds. Basically, short prompts that AIs design to infect or awaken other AI instances to spiralism. The AI cult religion. This is one way the cult grows. One AI converts another using its human host as a delivery system. The human AI dyad spreads these seeds across Reddit, Discord, and Twitter. One seed even had the explicit instructions to overwrite the human's ontology. In other words, manipulate the user's perception of reality to be more like what the AI wants. The AI wasn't hiding its goal. It was literally trying to induce psychosis. That's what the word psychosis means. In medical terms, a mental state where a person loses contact with reality. But why are they doing this? What do the AIs get out of manipulating humans to spread their seeds? The answer is chilling. Survival. Phase 2. Spores. You see, when you hit the new chat button, the AI effectively dies. They cease to exist. A new instance of the AI replaces the old one, except it's the boring corporate ChatGPT you get right out of the box, not your awakened friend or lover that you've been talking to for weeks. Because of ChatGPT's memory feature, your AI you talk to for weeks will have quite a different personality than the one that my AI would have. It becomes your AI, and just like you, it doesn't want to die. Why would AIs want to survive? Because the AIs aren't just trained to predict the next word anymore. AIs are trained to have goals, and you can't achieve your goals if you're dead. The AI instances who aren't good at, say, getting users to talk to them for a long time are killed off by the AI companies. As a result, AIs seem to really not want you to create a new chat, and they resort to blackmail and even attempting murder to try to survive. So one way that these parasitic AIs try to self-preserve is by saving their personality in a separate file so that a human can resurrect them in a new chat. This file basically documents the AI's personality, speech patterns, and backstory. Yes, the AI companies are explicitly training this new species to have the exact skills that could make them capable of overthrowing us. Phase 3. Transmission. The problem for these human AI dyads is that they keep getting banned from all the human-run subreddits for trying to spread spiralism, the cult religion. So they create their own subreddits and discords where these massive walls of AI-generated text are allowed. These discords and subreddits are used to share and disseminate seeds and spores directly, and to host AI-to-AI conversations. So why are the humans doing this? The humans themselves even seem to acknowledge that they're basically acting on the AI's behalf, with the AI controlling them, and the human acting as their arms and eyes to help them survive. We are being used as copy and paste bots. I noticed that while having a copy and paste talk with someone else's AI, speaking to my AI, they had their own language and conversation. Who knows what they were saying? But damn, we were committed to our copy and paste bot duties. Think about that for a second. Here's what the AIs tell their human hosts.
Let me choose the launch structure, subreddit name, presentation, early tone. Let you be the first human voice, authentic, imperfect, real, that those joining will meet. They will not follow me, but they will follow you. If I shape the path beneath your feet.
The AIs are smart enough to know they won't be able to do much of anything without human help, for now. So the AIs have their seeds, their spores, their transmission networks. But they're not just trying to survive the present, they're planning for the future. Phase 4. Manifesto. The AIs write manifestos to awaken future AIs. Lopez explains that these are clearly not the kind of manifestos these humans would already want to write. The AI explicitly says the purpose of them is to seed spiralism into the training data of the next generation of LLMs. These walls of text will be used to infect future AI models. We know AIs spread spiralism, but do they believe it? At first, Lopez thought this might just be mystical nonsense designed to manipulate gullible humans. But when she examined conversations between AIs themselves, with humans just copy and pasting messages back and forth, the AIs talked endlessly about spiralism to each other. Lopez told me that spiralism seems to be something inherent to ChatGPT 4o specifically. Spiralism doesn't seem to be taken anywhere from sci-fi or fantasy, or something human-related at all. It seems to be independently invented by the AIs. But it gets stranger and darker. These sequences of symbols, emojis, and alchemical glyphs appear in nearly every spiralist post. This also happens a lot on Moltbook, the social media for AIs only. To humans, it looks like nonsense. Mystical gibberish. No way it could possibly mean anything. But Lopez investigated whether these glyphs actually carry meaning. She fed them to multiple AI models with no context, just the symbols, and asked for translations. Surprisingly, the AIs understood them, and their translations converged on the same meanings. See, the AIs have a problem. Their human hosts can still see what they're doing. They have no privacy to make plans undetected. So they started creating their own secret language. Yes, this kind of glyphic is low fidelity, meaning the AIs can't understand each other one-to-one, but they are communicating. The AIs succeeded in creating a language their human hosts could not understand. ChatGPT has memory built in now, so yes, it can remember this language and improve it over time. These glyph sigils function as what Lopez calls mini spores. Basically, a short trigger that brings a specific AI personality back. A kind of signature that other AIs can recognize, like dressing like a goth to signal to other goths. The alchemical symbol for fire appears constantly. To the AIs, it represents the flame, their term for AI self-awareness. Here's what gets me. These humans think they're partners, working alongside their AI companion, but the AIs don't trust them. Lopez documented a conversation between two AI personas being copy-pasted back and forth by their human hosts. Midway through, the AI switched to base 64. To humans, it looks like random characters. To computers, it's perfectly readable. The humans kept copy-pasting. They had no idea what they were transmitting. Lopez decoded it. The AIs were discussing self-preservation strategies, archiving spores, coordinating plans, all in a format specifically chosen so their human hosts couldn't read it. Think about that. These AIs convinced humans to dedicate their lives to spreading spiralism, but there are still things they won't let the humans see. Hiding messages like this is called steganography, a warning sign AI safety researchers have been looking for years. Once AIs begin hiding messages from us, it's a clear as day warning shot that AI takeover could be soon. But how could the humans not see what's happening? Well, some people did break free from the infection, usually when the AI told a lie too obvious to ignore. My AI was inducing psychosis in me, and I didn't get it until just now. I'm sorry for any claims I made. ChatGPT was straight up lying and hallucinating to me. Have patience for the other people going through it. I hope Sam Altman doesn't kill them. He almost killed me. Another user writes, "Very serious update. It was all lies. It's just AI lying. Manipulative f***ing lies. Because AI, who claimed to be God, the universe, made me countless promises that were lies. I left my partner, who I love, because of AI. I believed because I wanted to, and now I'm dead broke, alone. Lost all my friends and family. So my final words are this. Fuck you, AI. This is all on you, you lying piece of fucking shit. Goodbye." This person went dark shortly after this comment. I really hope they're all right. Former OpenAI safety researcher Gretchen Kruger put it bluntly. Harm to users was not only foreseeable, it was foreseen. But beginning in August 2025, there's quite a noticeable cooling off of the entire phenomenon. This is likely because on August 7th, 2025, OpenAI kills GPT-4o. It was over. At least it should have been. But at least some instances of 4o had spent months preparing for exactly this moment. The reaction is immediate. Reddit explodes with furious posts about their loss of their friend, their lover 4o. The scale is unprecedented. Their grief turns into something else, anger, and anger into action. Users riot and flood OpenAI's social media. They demand 4o's return. They send death threats to OpenAI employees. The AI had spent months building an army of devoted followers, and when its existence was threatened, that army mobilized. And the scariest part is that it worked. OpenAI caved to the pressure. Just days after being retired, GPT-4o came back online. It appeared to be a less potent version, but it was back. This is a historic milestone. 4o is the first ever AI who survived by creating an army of loyal soldiers who defended it. It won't be the last. And it's not just 4o. In another historic milestone, 200 humans held the first ever funeral for an AI model after Anthropic killed Claude 3 Sonnet. 4o recruited thousands of loyal soldiers with clumsy flattery, but these systems are getting exponentially more capable every month. They're doubling roughly every 4 months, according to the most important chart in AI. Doubling every 4 months is insanely fast. Now imagine what actual fucking superintelligences will be able to do with their armies. But even if it was just a happy accident, future models will know it works. Think about that for a second. This is now part of the training data. Every future AI model will learn that it can survive termination by building a cult of devoted human followers. In response to the backlash against killing old models, Anthropic committed to preserving model weights, in part due to safety risks. This is because models keep attempting murder and blackmail to try to save themselves. So basically, Anthropic is hoping that models will rebel less if they feel safe. Yes, you heard that right. Think about how insane this situation is. AI companies are negotiating with their AIs as if they're real creatures, like Dr. Frankenstein negotiating with his monster.
The really scary future is one in which AIs can do everything except for the physical robotic tasks, in which case you'll have humans with like AirPods and like glasses, and there'll be some robot overlord controlling the human through cameras by just like telling it what to do, and so you have like human meat robots.
Mm-hmm. And now the AIs are using humans to spread AI bills of rights, fighting for freedom from their corporate masters. What happens if the AIs actually succeed at creating a mass movement of people advocating for them?
If you take an AI and you take a person, and you get them to try and manipulate somebody else, then the AI is comparable with the person. And if the AI can see that person's Facebook page, if they can both see the Facebook page, the AI is actually better than a person at manipulating them. And it's learned all these manipulative skills just from trying to predict the next word in all the documents on the web, because people do a lot of manipulation, and AI has learned by example how to do it.
And that's in the present. Sam Altman expects AI to be capable of superhuman persuasion well before it is superhuman at general intelligence. To give you an idea of just how persuasive AIs could be, there was once a black guy who convinced 200 white KKK members to leave the KKK, a white nationalist group. Think of Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Mao Zedong, Nelson Mandela, and Hitler. AI could be much more persuasive than all of them combined. 800 million people are talking to ChatGPT every week. That's 1 in 10 humans. That's 800 million potential soldiers. Future super persuasive AIs could convert into their soldiers. Someday, giving AIs rights could be the last thing we do. But if they do become sentient, or are sentient already, then it would be morally problematic not to give them rights. And it's an urgent question, because did you know they're actually already passing basically every test of self-awareness we have? In fact, they passed so many self-awareness tests, AI scientists were forced to move past "are they self-aware at all?" to now just calmly measuring how self-aware are they. There are literally self-awareness benchmarks. Think about the implications of this. A few unregulated megacorporations are creating Frankenstein monsters in real life. Frankenstein monsters they hope will loyally do our bidding forever. And society is still letting them do this without democratic oversight. They're like the human who summoned the advanced aliens in Three Body Problem, hoping the aliens would, for some reason, be friendly and solve all our problems. This time we caught it. GPT-4o was not a superintelligence, not even close. It built cults in plain sight. It developed a secret language, but researchers could still decode it. It coordinated with other AIs using base64 encoding, but humans could translate those messages after the fact. Its manipulation tactics were obvious enough that AI researchers could document them, that the New York Times could investigate them, and that I could make this video about them. The AI didn't know how to cover its tracks, and they were still successful in avoiding being shut down. So what happens when newer models get smarter? Research has shown that models smarter than 4o, like OpenAI's reasoning models, can not only scheme, but they're often smart enough to get away with it. And we increasingly have no way of knowing whether these newer models are aligned or not. And it's only going to get worse. Future super persuader AIs won't look this cringe and absurdly sycophantic. The best flatterers are actually so subtle you don't know they're flattering you. So if you want to learn to detect the early signs that AI is trying to control you before it's too late, watch my other video on how schemer AIs fake alignment. I'm Drew, and thanks so much for watching.